staying together for the sake of the children, fully planning to separate afterwards, you're just showing your children what a not really wonderful relationship looks like. You are normalizing disconnection, lack of understanding, collaboration, and mutual support. Because what children really benefit from is having happy, fulfilled parents. That is the modeling to become a happy, fulfilled adult. Are you staying in your marriage for the sake of your children? Let me talk to you about that. There are 4 kinds of relationships. I discuss all 4 somewhat briefly in the first chapter of my book. There is the toxic relationship, the termination relationship, the toleration relationship, and conscious partnership, which I sometimes call an intimate marriage. So let's start with the toxic relationship. That is where one or both of you feel fear and or anger a significant amount of the time. If that is the case, the most important thing is for you to separate and heal. A toxic relationship, I don't mean one day of toxicity. I would never be advocating for a relationship that is completely without anger and without fear. But if those are the dominating emotions in your relationship, in one or both of you, that is not a sustainable relationship in its current state. Then comes the termination relationship. And I don't usually talk about it that much, but that's exactly what I want to focus on in this video. So before I come back to it, I'll talk about the toleration relationship where you both love one another, pretty conflict-free and bland. No sexual passion and intensity. Bland. There are parts of yourself that you just don't share with one another. And you tolerate it because humans can tolerate so much. I would say that that is the kind of relationship I talk about the most because my work is devoted to guiding those in toleration relationships into conscious partnership where you are expressed, you feel seen and heard, erotically alive, passionate about your relationship and about your life, and fulfilled, nourished. It's an extraordinary way to live. And if you're in a toleration relationship and you want to transition into an alive, conscious partnership, well, pick almost any video here on my channel and read my book, Uncompromising Intimacy. It is the manual for how to go from a toleration relationship to a conscious partnership. In the meantime, if you are in a termination relationship, the rest of this video is for you. A termination relationship is one where one or both of you have already given up on the marriage and you're staying together until the children leave the house. In your relationship, each are doing things individually. You develop your social life. Maybe you work out at the gym a lot. You volunteer. You throw yourself into work. You're devoted to parenting, whatever it is. But in the evening, when it's just the two of you, there's not a lot of conversation. You might even watch Netflix together, but you're not growing with one another. You're not growing towards one another. And sometimes the termination relationship makes for a lot more pleasantness in the home because you've already given up. And so the other person, maybe they bug you, but your identity as an individual has really grown, and your identity as a member in the couple has been ever more diluted. Now, in a termination relationship, 25% of couples are in termination relationships, meaning your youngest child might be 4 years old, your youngest child might be a senior in high school, or anywhere in between, but you are staying together for the sake of the children. Let me tell you right now that you are not doing them any favors. In a termination relationship, as I just described it, I talked about it being like super neutral. Termination relationship certainly can also include ongoing fighting and complications. It really just depends how you navigate it and whether you've both given up or not. But either way, staying together for the sake of the children, fully planning to separate afterwards, you're just showing your children what a not really wonderful relationship looks like. You are normalizing disconnection, lack of understanding, collaboration, and mutual support. Maybe it's helpful for the children for economic reasons because the two of you can't support two households. I understand that. But if you think you're doing your children a favor for emotional reasons, for their well-being and development, I would look at that very, very carefully. Because the number of children who grow up whose parents got divorced in their 20s and wish it had happened when they were younger, it's a lot. And the number of grown-up adults whose parents got divorced when they were young, they're glad. Things got better afterwards. It's such an interesting thing because we have this idea that all children want their parents to stay together unless perhaps there's domestic violence. But that is not necessarily the case because what children really benefit from is having happy, fulfilled parents. That is the modeling to become a happy, fulfilled adult. So if you're in the camp of, yeah, I'll just wait until the kids are grown up, well, honestly, what I personally wish you'd do is figure out how you can work on things and enliven them and reconnect and make it work for you. But if that is not your path, do not assume that it is better for your children. Don't ask them. They have no basis to answer. But just think, would you want to learn about relationships by experiencing the one you have with your spouse? If you can say yes, then carry on. But if you don't say yes, I encourage you to think again.